Comcast has destroyed my home.
Hundreds show up to voice their concerns about Comcast customer service. Did they get the answers and the help they were looking for? And luck of the Irish, more than 500,000 people are expected at Savannah's biggest party. What you'll need to know to enjoy a safe St. Patrick's Day this year. And Mob Zombie, why the undead are calling Savannah their temporary home and the unlikely hero that's fighting back.
I hate Comcast.
Emotions running high over bills that ran even higher, poor customer service, and incessant technical problems at public meetings held to address concerns about Comcast. Hello everyone, I'm Chris Brown from the Savannah International Trade and Convention Center.
And I'm Margaret Williams. Welcome to the latest edition of City Span, your source for news about Savannah city government.
Over the course of 4 days, the city held public forums to address what some say are systemic issues in the way Comcast deals with their customers. State law allows local municipalities to address customer service concerns residents may have with the company. And Savannah residents, well, they didn't hold back, telling Comcast representatives just how they felt about the issues they've experienced with Comcast. So we wanted to know what happened after the meetings. Did folks get the help they were looking for? Our Carol itself found out.
Yeah, it was very distressing.
Diane Thibodeau is a traveler.
I travel, and so I'm in and out of Savannah. I hear little things, but I didn't realize the problem was as widespread.
But she found out just how widespread it was when Comcast issues came right to her door.
Here's one of the holes you can see. It's just straight through the mortar. That goes straight in. And you can see it already went up to the attic.
Diane rents out her historic Ardsley Park home, but when she authorized her tenants to get a new cable box, she says Comcast took that as carte blanche to run new cable, leaving her with strung cables, holes in her walls, her home wrecked.
It will never be like it was. All we can do is try to make it as good as it can be.
Her story was one of many.
And I'm going to lose a lot of money if I don't.
Your name ought to be Comcast.
So that's my question.
Hundreds of people complaining about being overcharged, underconnected, and treated poorly by a company they feel they have no choice but to use. Comcast representatives were on hand at every meeting, doing their part to resolve issues on the spot or work to get them resolved. Andy Mackey is a spokesperson for Comcast.
Work to be a better company and something that City of Savannah can be proud of.
The meetings, set up by council as a way to address a barrage of complaints the city received about Comcast. Alderman Tony Thomas led the charge.
But there's so many people saying the same things, it makes me wonder if we got questionable billing practices going on by this company that need to be investigated further.
Thomas says he'll keep fighting until these issues are resolved. Days' worth of follow-up phone calls to folks who were at the meeting show more than half had their issues fixed or are working with Comcast to get them resolved. Thibodeau has heard from the company and says the appointment is made to have her home repaired.
I feel like they will follow through.
If they don't, she'll certainly be following up with them. In Ardsley Park, Carol Essell, City Span.
As it stands, Comcast is the only cable provider in Savannah. However, the city manager has started a search to bring another provider in town to offer customers a choice about how they get their cable.
It's tax season, and if you need a little extra help getting yours done, the city has a way to help. VITA, the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, works to help you with all your tax needs. All the volunteers are IRS certified. The program has several different locations around Savannah. For a complete list of sites and hours they're open, head to our website, savannahga.gov. Think twice if you find yourself parking on your lawn from time to time. The city will begin issuing tickets for folks whose vehicles or boats are parked on their lawns. Residents are required to park in an approved driveway, or if in a yard, it must be parallel to the cars parked properly. Warning tickets are being issued now, but soon those citations will go up to $15 for the first offense. The reason? Yard parking tears up lawns, leaves ruts, and it's just not very pretty. They're the stuff of legend, but what secrets do the giant archways in the Kluski embankment behind City Hall hold? That's exactly what a group of enterprising young students want to find out. The arches have been rumored to have once held slaves, but no one knows exactly what they were originally used for. The embankment is a favorite sightseeing spot for tourists and locals alike. The students want to hold an archaeological dig to get at whatever secrets may be hidden inside them. 4 of the archways are open, but one, commonly called the fifth door, has never been opened. The students plan to peek inside that during the course of their dig as well.
So the city keeps you up to date wherever you are using social media. So if you're a fan of ours on Facebook or follow us on Twitter, you may have found yourself wondering, is there a face behind all those posts? Well, in fact, there is. Saja Hours, our web guru, joins us in our social media center to tell us what's hot on the web. Saja, I know those Comcast meetings made a big splash on Facebook.
They did indeed, Chris. Folks who couldn't make it out to the public meetings still had a lot to say. So they took to the city's Facebook page to share their comments. Cassandra Parisi commented on one of our Comcast updates. We need other cable companies here. Comcast is the only company in the area, so they feel they can treat customers anyway. If they had competition, I would leave quick, fast, in a hurry. Jean Gessler said, I am very unsatisfied with their service also. Another hot issue, quadricycles and alcohol consumption, aka Savannah Slow Ride. Folks had a lot to say about that as well. Sierra Ogden said, keep Savannah Slow Ride as is. We let her know that council is listening. Public input is an important part of this process, and council's taking its time before making a decision. Now finally, one of our favorites, City Hall comment cards. Every year, hundreds of school children come to City Hall. They tour the building, they hold a mock city council meeting, and if the timing's right, they get to meet the mayor. We send them home with comment cards, they send them back, we post them on Facebook. Here's some that we got from the third graders at Calvary. Pretty great, huh, Chris?
They sure are cute. Saja Hours in our social media center. Saja, thanks. The city and SGTV are all over social media too, not just Facebook and Twitter. You can find all our programs online on our YouTube page, the latest editions of City Span, Talk Savannah, and more, all just a click away. It's the information you want, the updates you need on your schedule. Find us on your favorite site, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.com/City of Savannah.
With more than 500,000 people expected to descend on Savannah for St. Patrick's Day, it takes a year's worth of planning to get ready.
It sure does, and the idea is everybody's supposed to have a good time, but a safe one too,
yes.
Which means Savannah-Chatham Metro PD will have quite a task on their hands.
The police department doesn't view it as an opportunity to make large numbers of arrests. That enforcement is just one component of an overall management concept, and that when you deal with the St. Patrick's Day festival such as ours, and like it or not, especially in that late night festival area, there is a large consumption of alcohol. And when you deal with a large gathering of people, especially with the age groups that we're dealing with, you know, range from your early 20s all the way up into your 30s or 40s, that as a result we find it necessary to make those number of arrests.
The city is making it easier for you to have a green celebration at the festival this year in more ways than one. Recycling bins on both ends of River Street, as well as in the Hospitality Center and along the parade route. And the city is asking you to use them. When trash gets mixed in with recyclables, it contaminates, and that means it can't be recycled. Do your part to help keep this year's celebration green. We're making efforts to go green year-round too, and what better day to celebrate that spirit than on Earth Day. Every year, a festival is held in Forsyth Park to inspire folks to do a little more to help keep our planet healthy. This year's event is on April 21st. The festival coincides with Recycle-Rama with an aim of giving everyone a place to get rid of hazardous trash in the right way. In the first 3 hours last year, the event collected more than 7,000 gallons of paint and almost 300 pounds of medication and more than 500 tires.
And the city's also making some changes to the way you can get rid of old cooking grease. It used to be the city would only accept that grease around Thanksgiving, but now you can get rid of it all year round. The water treatment plant on President Street will begin accepting old cooking oils year round at that facility. Pouring cooking grease down the drain clogs pipes and is one of the leading causes of sewage spills in the area. Old grease sort of coats the insides of the lines, eventually causing a clog and backs them up. So not only will you be able to dispose of the grease the right way, the location will also be putting that grease back to work as well.
When you discard it in the trash, it goes to the landfill. So the thing with bringing it to President Street, like I said earlier, is you get to recycle it and get to see it in action as far as being used as an alternative fuel. The
plant is open for grease collection beginning this month. Shaw says they plan on starting with limited hours, but will increase them depending on demand. Well, since 2008, as part of its Thrive initiative, the city's been working to make Savannah a greener place by instituting programs to help the city reduce its carbon footprint and by encouraging folks to participate in activities that promote an eco-friendly and sustainable community. One of the easiest ways to do that riding a bike. City of Savannah Sustainability Coordinator Garrison Marr has more on how the city is helping you make the most of your ride.
Riding your bike to where you work or shop is a great way to save money, reduce pollution, and stay healthy. One of the great duties of a Savannah cyclist is correctly parking your bike. Luckily, the City of Savannah makes it easier by providing bicycle parking in the downtown area. In fact, the City of Savannah has installed over 50 bicycle racks in the last 2 years. So here's a quick tip on a good lockup to one of those racks. Your bike should be perpendicular to the rack. This lets more bikes lock up to the same rack. If you can, use a cable and U-style lock to secure your frame and wheels to the bike rack. Lock just your wheel, and it might be the only thing left when you come back. If you'd like to request a bicycle rack in the public right-of-way by your business or nonprofit, contact Mobility and Parking Services at 651-3634. More bikes on the road means less pollution in the air. So ride on and think green, Savannah.
The city's Thrive initiative has partnered up with the Chatham Environmental Forum to work toward making Chatham County the greenest county in Georgia. You can learn more about the forum's Join In campaign by visiting their website at joininchatham.org.
Bikers rejoice. Last month, city workers put paint to the pavement to complete the first dedicated southbound bike lane out of the downtown area. Previously a 2-lane, one-way street, Price Street has been transformed with the addition of parking along the west or right-hand side of the street, the new bike lane, and 1 lane for motorists.
Price Street has been moving traffic down for a number of years now. Various complaints from the neighborhoods have been noise, dirt, and lack of parking. So hopefully we will be able to address all of those problems when we reduce the street to a 1-lane road, travel lane, with a parking lane and a bike lane. Hopefully reduces the noise, cars will travel a little bit slower through the neighborhood, and the city will have its first southbound bike lane out of downtown.
The addition of symbols marking the bike lane and the installation of bike lane signs appears to have helped eliminate initial confusion for bikers and motorists along the street. The new bike lane runs from Bay Street to Victory Drive, where cyclists can connect to the Habersham bike lane in the vicinity of 42nd Street.
Well, from St. Patrick's Day to a Savannah slow ride, City Council has their hands full. Brett Bell joins us to tell us what's on the agenda.
And later, the undead on the loose in Savannah. But lucky for us, Honest Abe is on the hunt. We'll explain.
A slow ride, St. Patrick's Day. It's been top of mind for City Council so far this year. Brett Bell joins us from City Hall now to tell us what else is on the agenda. Hey, Brett.
Thanks, Chris. Among the many actions taken at their 2 regular meetings in February, City Council approved a $545,000 contract to purchase 60 new pay-by-space parking meters. Eventually, these meters will replace the aging multi-space meters around town. Those old meters print out a receipt that parkers must then place in their windshield. The new machines assign individual numbers to each space, eliminating the need for a receipt. Eventually, the system will allow motorists to add additional time to their parking meters wherever they may be with a simple touch of their smartphone. City Council approved a $394,000 contract for engineering services to plan for a new water reclamation facility that could save the city up to 500,000 gallons of drinking water a day. As proposed, the facility would be built at the site of a decommissioned plant at the end of Argonic Road. It would take non-solid effluent from a nearby lift station, treat it to high standards, and use the reclaimed water for irrigation of the Bacon Park Golf Course in nearby ball fields. The city uses a similar system to irrigate the Savannah Golf Course and much of Hutchinson Island. This is one of several programs the city has enacted in recent years to save precious drinking water and help the environment. City Council approved a $100,000 contract for transportation services for our 14 Golden Age centers. The service uses vans to pick up senior citizens and transport them to the centers, where they participate in a number of programs and activities. An estimated 10,250 trips per year will be made under the transportation contract. And City Council named Recorder's Court Judge Tammy Cox Stokes as the new Chief Judge of Recorder's Court. They also nominated Harris Odell to fill the open Recorder's Court judge seat until elections are held this summer. The actions were necessary after Chief Judge Larry Dillon passed away in February following almost 25 years of distinguished service on the bench. Chris?
All right, Brett Bell in City Hall for us. Brett, thank you. And don't forget, you can watch the latest council meetings right here on SGTV or on your schedule on our website at savannahga.gov.
Small businesses are key to our city's economic growth and vitality, but in today's ever-changing economic environment, doing business is far different than it was a decade ago or even a year ago. That's why Mayor Edna Jackson is hosting the 6th annual Mayor Small Business Conference with help from the city's Department of Economic Development. The theme of this year's conference is Your Business Changing with the Times. There will be sessions on how to grow your business, marketing, a roundtable discussion featuring some of Savannah's most successful entrepreneurs, and a keynote address by Al Kinnickle of Savannah's own Kinnickle Printing. This year's conference will be held on Wednesday, April 4th from 8:30 to 1:30 p.m. at the Savannah Civic Center. The Mayor Small Business Conference is an initiative of the U.S. Conference of Mayors and is intended to provide business and economic development information and networking opportunities. Space is limited for Savannah's nationally recognized conference and registration is required. You can register by calling 651-3653 or by visiting the city's website at savannahga.gov.
Well, home repair can be expensive, we all know that, but a new partnership between the city and a local nonprofit is helping area seniors bear that burden. The city partnered with a community help to put a new roof on Miss Lucy Grant's home. The 85-year-old has been living with a leaky roof for years now. She just couldn't find the money to pay to fix it. Grant received almost $10,000 from the partnership, enough to get her roof she needed so badly. She says the new roof is a big relief.
It's been leaking for a while. It's been leaking for a while. And I was just trying to find help because I know I couldn't afford to do it. And they came through for me. Thank you.
Imagine it is. Glad she got that help. Community Help actually plans to partner with the city on several similar projects throughout the year. In fact, the city has plans to fix more than 150 homes this year alone.
Each month on City Span, we team up with the folks at Bank on Savannah, an initiative of Step Up Savannah, to provide you with some easy ways to make the most of your money. With this month's Bank on This tip, here's Richard Reed from Consumer Credit Counseling Service of Savannah.
This month, we're talking about savings accounts. There's an old proverb that says it's not important how much money you make, but how much money you save. Savings are the best tool we have to help achieve prosperity. They help us accumulate assets, prepare for emergencies, and achieve our financial goals.
When you're shopping for a savings account, it's always important to make sure that your account is insured. Two types of insurability is called the FDIC, which is insurance by the bank, and also the NCUA, which is insurance backed by the credit union. And with your savings account, it's also important to question what type of interest rate you will earn on your account. The interest rate is compounded, and it's good to know whether it's compounded daily. That way you get a better rate of return on your account. Also, it's important to know the annual percentage yield, or APY. That way, as your savings grows, your interest grows along with the account. Another tool for savings is called a certificate of deposit, or CD. Now, this is basically an account that you will not have easy access to, but it is a long-term savings tool. It can range from 6 months, 9 months, or even 12 months in a time period where to hold the funds and you're allowed to earn a better interest rate on your account.
It's important to save 10% of your income, but remember, something is better than nothing. And make sure you pay yourself first, not after all your bills are paid. Auto deposit can be a great way to have money going in automatically into your savings account. That way you don't even have to think about it. And remember not to pull your money out of savings every month, because that's not really savings.
Now make sure you do not use your checking account like a savings account. Typically, they do not pay interest and allow for too much accessibility. On the flip side, make sure that you do not use your savings account like a checking account. Savings accounts typically have a restricted amount of withdrawals per monthly statement, And if you go over those withdrawals, there may be a service charge for that month.
A good rule of thumb is to have $1,000 in a savings account for an emergency fund. But remember, something is better than nothing. Savings accounts are great tools that help us reach our short and medium-term financial goals. Until next time, I'm Richard Reeve, and you can bank on this.
Construction is almost complete on the city's critical workforce shelter. The facility will house hundreds of city employees in the event of a major natural disaster. The idea is to have a team ready to go to help bring the city back online as soon as the storm has passed. The building is solid too, with 12-inch poured-in-place concrete walls. It's built to withstand a Category 5 hurricane. Though folks hope the shelter won't ever have to be used for an emergency, it's there just in case.
Bringing the city back up with the cleanup efforts afterwards is a big thing, but the most important thing from where I sit is actually be able to give them a place where they can be comfortable, and I can also take care of them, meet whatever their needs are. You know, you have your basic living needs, and the last thing you want to do in the event of a storm is not be able to do that.
When it's not being used for emergency management, the shelter will be used as offices.
Well, music will soon be in the air as the Savannah Music Festival gets underway later on this month. The 2012 Savannah Music Festival will feature dozens of different acts, including a variety of different musical styles. Among the big names this year's festival, Lyle Lovett and John Hyatt will play an unplugged style show. The festival begins March 22nd and runs through April 7th. Tickets are already on sale and going fast. For details, you can find them on our website, savannahga.gov. And speaking of festivals, the Savannah Book Festival just wrapped up this year. Held every year, the Book Festival brings world-renowned authors and readers together. The 2012 festival featured such notable authors as Stephen King, the famed horror writer, of course, and Walter Isaacson, whose biography of Steve Jobs was an instant bestseller. It gives authors a chance to connect with their fans in an intimate setting. It's always a big hit around town. And among all the big names that we saw at this year's festival, one you may not have heard of is Dr. Irshad Manji. Dr. Manji is an accomplished author whose aim is to promote moral courage and reform in the Muslim community. We sat down with Dr. Manji at the Savannah Book Festival this year and talked about her bold vision and the trials and tribulations she's faced trying to see it through.
In this new book, I am giving people a series of lessons that I have learned in the journey to moral courage. Now, what is moral courage? This is the willingness to speak truth to power within your community for a greater good. Actually, Robert F. Kennedy is the man who coined and popularized that phrase. And it's something that when I wrote my previous book, I was exhibiting, but I had no idea that there was such a thing as moral courage.
Speaking back to power, speaking out to power, speaking within your own community, it's not always easy conversations.
You know, progress never happens without backlash somewhere along the way. After all, progress is by definition the challenging of a status quo that has become corrupt. And so it's not just in religion, of course, that this happens. It is in the world of finance, Lord knows, the world of media, you know, the world of politics. And so frankly, moral courage is the precondition, the necessary ingredient for corruption anywhere to be exposed, and more importantly, to get fixed. And that's why Allah, Liberty, and Love, though it focuses on Islam, really does convey lessons that anybody can use in order to shift from dishonesty in their lives to a life of living with the liberation of honesty.
Can we talk a little about that progress? I mean, you've 10 years. What have you seen? What are you waiting to see?
It's a great question. What I have seen is that young Muslims right around the world, and we saw this really culminating in the so-called Arab Spring, are finally beginning to use their voices to reconcile faith and freedom. You know, in my previous book, The Trouble with Islam Today, I was making the case for why a new generation should be sticking our necks out to ignite a reformation within Islam. This new book is no longer about the why. It's about the how.
There's much more with Dr. Manji as well. If you want to see the full interview, you can head on over to our YouTube page, youtube.com/City of Savannah.
Zombies on the loose in downtown Savannah, while the undead may want to hope for a presidential pardon.
I am Savannah.
You are Savannah.
We are all Savannah.
And we need to rethink
how to use water
We need to use our water effectively.
You need to use water
effectively. The bottom line is that our water supply is limited and demand is growing.
What are you going to do about it?
Help us make Savannah a water efficient and a water effective community.
Think water.
Think when you use water.
Think how to conserve water.
Welcome back. But when it comes to what's happening in Savannah, our Erin Seals, she's always in the know.
Absolutely. So jewelry lovers, listen up. Erin's going to show us how to learn all about making some ourselves in this month's The Beat.
I'm here with Christy, and we are going to make some jewelry today. And Christy teaches the beginning metalsmithing class here at Space Galleries. Christy, tell us how to start and
grab
how I
one
could
of the
get
ring
back
sizers, and we're going to figure out the size of ring that we need.
I am pretty much, yes, at 8.
First, find what gauge of metal we're using. We don't want to go too long and we don't want to go too short. We just want it to be perfect.
I'm going to try to measure it and see what happens. You have to have some muscles to do this. What does this do?
You're trying to get a straight, flat edge.
Okay.
Because what we're going to do is we're going to bend the wire around into a flat plane.
Can I do like this, or is that against the law?
Well, you can try it and then I'll help you.
Okay.
Oh, close enough. Yep. You did it.
Flat plane. Saying thanks to you. We are getting ready to solder. Again, Christy, what does soldering mean for those who don't know, and including myself?
So that's going to help bond the two edges of the wire to make it one solid band.
Let's go. I'm ready.
We're going to turn our torch on so that
that's a nervous laugh. Okay, this is. Ooh.
Now we're going to stick it in the pickle over here.
Looking good.
And we're going to just hammer it to get a little bit of an opening. Okay, now we're going to put it on the mandrel, okay, and then scoot it down as much as you can. So this one's a ring mandrel.
I get to wear this today. This is real right here. I like this. This is scary. And this is the finished product. For registration and details about this class, check out our website at www.savannahga.gov/arts. I'm Erin Seals, The Beat.
Of all the sites you see in town, and there are a lot of them, Margaret,
Yes.
zombies are probably not on your list.
But lately, zombies seems to be popping up all over the place, but they're not here to stay. A production company has just wrapped up filming Abraham Lincoln versus the zombies in town.
The flick centers around a Civil War-era zombie horde and the one person who saves the day, good old Honest Abe.
The movie actually employed dozens of local folks, including all the zombies. The film's producer said Savannah's old world charm made coming here an easy choice.
I lived here for 6 months, and when they pitched this movie to me and this came across my desk, I couldn't think of a better place to shoot it. The problem with shooting stuff in Los Angeles is stuff looks like Los Angeles, and this needs to look like 1863, Civil War era, and that's not LA. So it's kind of a natural decision.
Ward said this is his third zombie movie in the past 6 months, which means he's getting used to being around them all the time, I guess.
I guess so.
Well, that's going to do it for this edition of City Span. Don't forget, for the latest in news and information about the city of Savannah, keep it tuned right here to SGTV.
And for the latest news any time of the day, you can log on to our website at savannahga.gov.
Until next time, I'm Chris Brown.
And I'm Margaret Williams. Thanks for watching, and thanks for making Savannah your home.